What is going on, guys? Stormcat back with another video, and in this one I'm going to go over my top 5 summoning weapons. We're going to go over how to get them, what they do, their special abilities, and then also like the best prefixes that you can have for them and their damage and stuff like that. So let's get right on into the top 5. Alright, so my number 5 slot, guys, is the Slime Staff. Now the Slime Staff isn't good. It's in my top 5 because I actually got one pretty early on, which is super lucky. And the Slime Staff is the first summoning item that you come across that you are eligible to get. I believe you can get the Slime Staff right off the bat as soon as you start the game. But it gives 16 summon damage, weak knockback, it uses 10 mana, and it summons baby slimes to fight for you. So what I'm going to do is use all of these weapons to show you guys what they look like. They're cute little slimes. Look at them. Look at them. Alright. Anyway, the Slime Staff, I believe, can be dropped by any slime in the game. Yes, so the Slime Staff is a summon weapon that summons a little baby slime. And the typical drop rate from most slimes and slime zombies is 1 in 10,000. So it's super rare. And I got one pretty early on, and I was like, whatever. It looks okay. I'll use it. But as you can see here, I had a damage boost because of my summoning armor. But it's actually at a base of 8. It's got 2 very weak knockback. Only uses 10 mana. Use time is 27, so it's pretty quick. And it summons little baby slimes. So Pinky does have an increased chance. It's 1 in 100, so farming Pinky is actually a pretty good way to get this. And then Sam Slimes is 1 in 8,000 instead. But I believe it can be dropped from every single slime. But it is the rarest drop in the game, which is insane. But if you want the best prefix for this weapon, guys, it is Mythical. Because Ruthless and Mythical modifiers raise its base damage only to 9 due to rounding. So, regardless, even though Ruthless has a better percentage of damage, it's not going to go up to 10 because of the rounding system in the game. So Mythical is the best modifier. But as you can see, you summon little slimes. They're always green, I believe. I don't think you can dye them at all. But it's pretty cool. It's super rare drop. Actually, the rarest weapon drop in the game. So that's my number 5, the Slime Staff. Alright, so next, guys, is the Zeno Staff. Now, you will get this from the Martian Madness event. It does 74 summon damage with my armor bonus and all these bonuses. So I'm going to look it up and tell you the base. But it's got weak knockback, uses 10 mana, and summons a UFO to fight for you. Now, this thing, I love this. These little UFOs are so awesome. Just look at them. They even got like little lights on them and stuff. It's so cool. But I love this staff. Anyway, let's go over to the wiki so that I can tell you guys exactly how to get this staff. Alright, guys, so the Zeno Staff is obviously post-golem. It's hard mode, summon weapon, and it summons little UFO minions. It is dropped by the Martian Saucer. I thought so. So you have to fight the big saucers. If you need a video on how to do that, I actually have one if you would like to watch it. But yeah, the Martian Saucer is the drop, how you get this drop. And again, the best modifier is actually Ruthless for this one. The Mythical modifier provides the widest array of bonuses, but Ruthless has better bonuses. So it doesn't give you as many different ones, but they're better. They're concentrated. So minions cannot deal critical hits, so therefore Mythical is not going to affect that. And Ruthless is the best modifier for this. As you can see over here, we got a base damage of 36, weak knockback, 35 slow use time, and we have 10 velocity. So that's the Zeno Staff. I believe it's not a super rare drop. Yeah, so it's the same as all of the other things you can get. So there are a lot of drops from the Martian Saucers. I recommend farming them all. They're all really cool. But it is 11.11% for the Zeno Staff. Alright, that is my number 4 slot, the Zeno Staff. Look at all the little UFOs. Alright, next guys, we have the Raven Staff. Now, it actually does less damage than the Zeno Staff, but I actually like this one better just because I used to use it all the time. I would farm, I believe it was the Pumpkin Moon to get this, and I just love this staff. The Ravens are quick. You know, they fly around, they follow you. I just think the animations look really cool, and I use this for such a long time that it's grown on me. Nevertheless, though, it uses 10 mana and summons a Raven to fight for you. Has average knockback, and we're going to go over to the wiki to find the actual base damage, drop chance, stuff like that. Alright guys, so the Raven Staff is hard mode, obviously. Post Plantera summon weapon. It spawns a Raven character that follows the player and attacks enemies via a melee attack. Like other minions, Summon Raven is invincible and follows the player for an unlimited amount of time, unless the player dies. It is dropped from Pumpkin during the Pumpkin Moon. Event drop chance scales depending on what wave you're on. So if you're at a higher wave and you're fighting pumpkins at like wave 13 or 14, you are going to have a higher chance of getting the Raven Staff drop than if you're on like wave 10 or 11. So it scales the further you go. It starts at a 1.79% chance and it reaches a 14%. So if you can make it all the way through the Pumpkin or the Pumpkin Moon, it's going to be a pretty easy drop for you to get. Just farm it a few times, you'll definitely get it eventually. But again, the best modifier for this weapon is Ruthless. Again, Mythical does wider array, but it doesn't affect certain things for summons, so Ruthless ends up being better. And over here we have a base damage of 37, very weak knockback at 3, uses 10 mana, and use time is 27. So, that's the Raven Staff. It is dropped by the Pumpkin. You know, it starts out at a really low chance, but eventually it does increase, so you will get it a lot easier the further you get into the Pumpkin Moon. But that is the Raven Staff. I absolutely love the Raven Staff because I used it for so long, and it did me so well. Even if I wasn't doing a summoner playthrough, you know, even just having 1 or 2 of these is really helpful when fighting anything. So that is the Raven Staff in my number 3 slot. Alright, next guys, we have the Tempest Staff. Now, the Tempest Staff is dropped from Duke Fishron. I'll get you the percentage in just a second. But again, it has weak knockback, as most summons do. It uses 10 mana, like most summons do. And it summons Sharknadoes to fight for you, which are really awesome. So I'll show you what those look like now. It's a pretty freaking good summon weapon. They're going to do a lot of damage and defend you pretty well. But for me, it's 103 damage. Let's go over to the wiki, find out the best modifier and the actual base damage, and how likely you are to get this from Duke Fishron. It attacks enemies automatically by firing shark-shaped projectiles which splatter against enemies and blocks. Its attack is akin to a miniature version of Duke Fishron's Tornado Shark attack. The Tempest Staff has a 20% drop chance from Duke Fishron. So if you farm Duke Fishron 5 times, you should get the Tempest Staff. It is very unlikely that you won't. But just keep farming him. It is a pretty high drop rate. So the Tempest Staff is definitely worth it. If you can kill Duke Fishron, definitely farm for it. But it is a 20% drop. So over here we have a base damage of 50. 2 very weak knockback, uses 10 mana, a slow use time, and 10 velocity. Now, the Tempest Staff's Tornado moves to intercept enemies at significant range and can pass through blocks, which is awesome for a summon. The Tornado itself also damages enemies on contact. So this damages enemies when it touches them, and it also fires projectiles at them. So the Tempest Staff is really good, seriously. But again, the best modifier is Ruthless. Again, Mythical offers better things for other weapons, but because of no knockback and critical hits, the Mythical prefix is not as good as Ruthless. So That is my number 2 slot, the Tempest Staff, dropped by Duke Fishron. Alright, number 1, guys, as you probably guessed before you even clicked on the video, is the Stardust Dragon Staff. Now, this summon is absolutely fantastic. I'm not even gonna try to say that it's not the best in the game, because it is, and it probably will be for a while. I'm sure you can have certain setups where other ones may be better, but this one, 82 damage, is really, really good. Now, the Stardust Dragon Staff is 82 damage for me. I know it has a different base. It has weak knockback, uses 10 mana, and summons a Stardust Dragon to fight for you. Who needs a horde of minions when you have one giant dragon? So every single little piece of this dragon actually does damage to enemies, which is insane. Let's go over to the wiki and find out its base damage and crafting recipe. The Stardust Dragon Staff is a hard mode post-lunatic cultist summon weapon that summons a Stardust Dragon that attacks enemies. The Stardust Dragon is in constant flight and flies through blocks, attacking enemies by flying through them continuously. It leaves a trail of sparkles that provide periodic bursts of light as it moves. As you can see here, this is one little dragon. This is summoned twice, and it will get longer and longer the more minions you can have. It has a base damage of 40, very weak knockback, uses 10 mana, 36 very slow use time, and 10 velocity. These remain pretty consistent throughout all of the summon weapons. You know, they're typically slow use time because you only really have to use it once, so that's not really a huge deal. But the best modifier is Ruthless as well. Again, for the mythical, it doesn't apply to many of the aspects of summon, so Ruthless is definitely the better option here. And it is crafted with Stardust fragments at the Ancient Manipulator. So you don't actually have to defeat Moonlord if you want to craft this. All you have to do is finish the Stardust Pillar. And obviously you would have already killed the Lunatic Cultist to get the Manipulator. So you craft it after killing the Stardust Pillar, and there you go. You have an awesome summon that's going to help you with all of the other pillars. Definitely recommend crafting this before you do the solar one if you get enough fragments. But that is the Stardust Dragon Staff. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this top 5, please drop a like and subscribe for more Terraria videos like this. Drop a comment down below what your favorite summon weapon is, and I will see you guys in the next video.